Hello, my name is Isaac Bernard, and I will be doing civil rights and social justice movement in the 1960s through 70s. How food consumption changed. In the 1970s, food consumption during the civil rights and social justice movement became a powerful tool in activism or for activism and empowerment, such as food as resistance, cultural identity, food justice, back to the land movement, and community gardens. Groups like the Black Panther Party used programs like Free Breakfast for Children to fight poverty and highlight racial injustice. Ethnic communities embraced traditional foods as a form of cultural pride and resistance against assimilation. Activists raised awareness about food deserts and unequal access to healthy food in marginalized communities. Influenced by counterculture, many people adopted vegetarianism, organic eating, and communal living. Urban farming and co-op grew as ways to regain control over food and promote self-sufficiency. What decade had the biggest change politically? Why the 1960s was the most politically transformative? Because of landmark civil rights legislation, major Supreme Court cases, social movements, and youth and anti-war protests. For landmark civil rights legislation such as Civil Rights Act of 1964, which banned segregation and discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. Voting Rights Act Voting Rights Act of 1965, which ended discriminatory practices like literacy tests and poll taxes that kept Black Americans from voting. Fair Housing Act of 1968, which prohibited housing discrimination, and some major Supreme Courts were Gideon versus Wainwright. Miranda v. Arizona, which led to protecting suspects during police interrogations. Levin v. Virginia, which struck down bans on interracial marriage. Griswold v. Connecticut, which recognized the constitutional right to privacy, which was later used in the Roe v. Wade. Some social movements were civil rights movement led by figures like MLK Jr., Rosa Parks, and Malcolm X. There was also a Native American women's liberation movement and early LGBTQ organizing in 1969. And there were massive oppositions to the Vietnam War and college campuses becoming political battleground for free speech and civil rights. In short, the 1960s reshaped American politics and society at every level, legally, culturally, and socially, in ways that are still felt today. Some of the wars that were here are, which was the Vietnam War. It was a major Cold War conflict. U.S. tried to stop communist North Vietnam from taking over South Vietnam, which sparked massive protests at home and deeply divided the country. U.S. troops withdrew in 1973 and Saigon fell in 1975. Some other hot conflicts were Cambodia versus Laos, and this was caused by the Vietnam, which spilled over into the countries, causing secret bombings and civil wars. The Angolan Civil War, the USSR and the U.S. supported opposing sides as part of the Cold War rivalry. And there was also the Korean War. U.S. and UN forces fought to stop the spread of communism in South Korea, which ended in an armistice, not a peace treaty. North and South Korea are still divided today. These hot and cold conflicts shaped foreign policy and public opinion during the Civil Rights era, especially as people questioned why the U.S. fought for freedom abroad while denying it at home. Conspiracy theories. One of these are the JFK assassination, which was believed as Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone and killed or assassinated JFK. This conspiracy is mainly believed that the CIA, Mafia, FBI, or even Lyndon B. Johnson were involved. The mysterious circumstances sparked endless doubt and investigations. MLK and RFK assassin. Conspiracies claim deeper plots behind the killing of Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert F. Kennedy, often linking them to the government or intelligence agency trying to silence powerful voices change. and the Cold War espionage and secret society. Fears of communist infiltration led to rumors about spies in the government, secret communist plots, and underground movements. Groups like the Illuminati or Freemasons were often dragged into conspiracy theories about global control and Watergate. Not a theory, it was real, but Watergate confirmed to many Americans was that conspiracy and corruption in the government were not just possible, but also happening. And these are my sources.